Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot, the best that never was. But I see possibility.
And if you don't love me now, we'll never.
My Rook is a phenomenal talent.
What up, y'all? It's your man, Mr. Mars Sharp, Shortman Filmworks in the building. And we have another episode of the Everyday Man's Film Reviews for you guys this afternoon, all right? So, a lot of films have been coming out that I can truly say that I have not been interested in. I haven't really had a big interest in a lot of things that's been coming out. And to be honest with you, a lot of things that's been coming out has been kind of whack. So that's why I haven't really had any interest in seeing a lot of things that's being released. You know, but every now and so often you get a film has been coming out where it's piqued my interest and I want to go check it out. And the film I'm about to review for you guys today is one of those films. It is the 2025 release of F1 the movie, starring Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem, Damson Idris, Kerry Condon, and it kind of centers around those four characters. But yeah, this movie was released. I think this movie was released almost 2 months ago, because it's now August and this was released in, I want to say late June, so it was released maybe about a month and some change ago. All right, and what I really enjoyed this film, man. I enjoyed this film, and it was a nice, refreshing take on, not refreshing take, but it was refreshing to see a movie that seemed like it had some care into it. You know, it put some care into it. You know, but let me get to the overall gist of the movie. And like I said, I know this movie's been out for about a month. I'm not gonna do a lot of talking about it because I don't want to spoil anything. So for the people who haven't seen this movie yet, I'm not going to talk about too much and give y'all too much details on the movie. For the people who have seen this movie, y'all going to know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this film, all right? So this movie stars Brad Pitt as Sonny Hayes, who was a former Formula One driver back like 30 years ago in the 90s. And we go along with his story. He's kind of like this driver for hire, so to say. You know, he's doing these races. You know, he's doing these races and he's driving for these different competitions, basically just for the love of driving. It's not really much about the money for him. It's more about the driving experience. And he gets approached by one of his buddies from back in the day. Kind of was a race rival, but also a friend, who's played by Javier Bardem, which is his name was Ruben Cervantes. I believe that was his name. But he gets approached by Ruben, and Ruben has this race team called Apex. He has this race team where they're kind of in the dumps. They were at the bottom of the league, and I don't want to say he has no other options of what to go with, but then again, he kind of turns to Sonny as a last ditch effort. As they say in the movie, one of the guys says in the movie that Sonny is the Hail Mary. He's the last play. He's the last ditch effort to save this team and take it out of the dumps. You know, so we follow this course of what Sonny is going through and what his life is going. Now, we follow a course of his life, but we really get into what's going on with the team. And Ruben wants Sonny to come help him out with this rookie driver that he has, played by Damson Idris, by the name of Joshua Pierce, he's this rookie, but he's phenomenal at what he does. But, you know, as a rookie, he's got kinks he has to work out, and he's a little bit overconfident about his skills and his abilities, which he's great at his abilities, but he still needs that experienced driver to come in and kind of give him some pointers and show him how he can really be a winner and how they can take this team out of the dumps and make it into this top tier team. You know what I mean? So I like this film because it gave us a look into the Formula One world. You know what I mean? I've had an interest in Formula One, man, way back when I used to play Super Mario GP on the Sega Genesis, man. I had an interest in when I used to play games like that, and I had other games that was on the Genesis with Formula One cars and driver cars. I just like driving games in general, but Formula One was always something that I kind of had a little peek in. It was never something that really made me be like I want to get into it, but I was into it, but I wasn't into it. So I had a foot in and a foot out. And throughout the years, just playing video games, and it would come on ESPN, and I would always kind of have an eye toward it. So for me, seeing this film gave me a peek inside of what really goes on. What really goes on, and you see that it's not always about the driver. It's a team collaborative effort in what you see in this film. And the thing about it is, with this movie. And there's another Formula One movie that I love called Driven with Sylvester Stallone in it that came out in 2001. And there's a lot of similarities to this movie as it was with Driven. And I didn't hear too many I didn't really hear too many positive reviews about Driven when it first came out, but it came out back in 2001. And I don't think the popularity of F1 wasn't really there. Well, overseas it is, because overseas is a big deal. It's a big deal over in Europe, but as far as in America, I feel like now in America, in this current day and age, the popularity of the sport is starting to gain some traction. It's starting to increase. So with these two movies, I feel like this is kind of like this is the 2025 version of Driven, because a lot of the characters are kind of similar. Sylvester Stallone played a character by the name of what was his character's name? Oh God! As much as I watch this movie now, I can't think of the character's name, and I'm having a brain fart. This is one of my favorite movies too. But he played the character of Joe Tanto, and Joe Tanto is kind of what Sonny Hayes is. Sonny Hayes is this experienced racer who's been doing it for years. He went away from the sport because he was kind of like this, not renegade, but he was kind of like this role character where he got on a racetrack. He was a little bit reckless, a little bit aggressive, and he did what he wanted to do. And Joe Tanto's character was this kind of almost like the same way. He was considered the wild man of the circuit. So when I was watching this, I was finding a whole lot of similarities. And Joe Tanto goes to God the Rookie. He goes to God the Rookie because the Rookie, he's having issues and he's having problems with racing, and their team is in the dumps. So there's a lot of similarities. I don't want to say it was plagiarized. I don't want to say it was plagiarized, but there's a lot of similarities in this movie, and I think that's probably why I like the movie so much. Well, I like the movie because, like I said, I'm into the Formula One thing, but I found a lot of similarities in the characters and what was going on in the films. Because even in Driven, they give you a little taste of what was going on in the F1 world, but you kind of get more of the story of what's going on with Joe Tanto and what's going on with the rookie driver Jimmy Bly. You find out what's going on with them. And matter of fact, what I'm gonna do, I need to do a review on that movie since I watched this one. And I really want to watch it again so I can catch some more of the little nuances. I want to watch it again, but I also want to do a review on Driven just so I can kind of get the comparison taste of what's going on. But we'll save Driven for another day because I feel like I'm about to go into that film and I don't want to. I want to keep talking about this one. But this was a good film, man. It was a great movie, man. Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, which I haven't seen yet because I know this is kind of blasphemy, but I haven't seen the first Top Gun, and I want to watch the first Top Gun before I see the second Top Gun. So I've been holding off for a couple years now because I think Top Gun Maverick came out maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been holding off on it. But great job by Joseph Kosinski. I think I'm saying his name right. Is that his name? Yeah, Kosinski. Great job by him, man. He did a phenomenal job directing this film. Like I said, we get a taste of what's going on in the F1 world. And I got more out of this. I got more about what's going on in the F1 world in this movie than I did with Driven. I don't want to go to Driven. Stop going to Driven. I got more about what was going on with the F1 world in this movie than what I got in my previous movie. Let me put it like that. And I liked the perspective of what they was doing with it. They was showing you what it takes to be this kind of driver. Man, these drivers got to go through a lot. They have to go through a lot, man. They can't, it ain't just sitting in a car and just driving around a track. You got to know what you're doing. You got to study. It's like any sport. You got to study. You got to know your craft. You have to be physically in shape. There were some exercises that Brad Pitt was doing with his neck. And I can understand that because you're driving in a car that's doing like 200 something miles an hour. And your neck has to be strong. And you literally are in a little cockpit. And you might as well say you're in a missile. The car is basically designed like a little straight line missile. It's like a missile with four wheels. That's exactly what it is. You're right there. It's not like NASCAR where you're in the driver's seat, but you got a little space going on around you. This car, you're in it. And you in it and you in it to stay. Once you locked in, your ass is locked in. You know what I mean? So, showing that perspective of them being in the car. Just the POVs, man, the POV of what's going on when they driving, and you see what's going on to the left of them, what's going on to the right, and you kind of get a idea of what's going on in their mind. Because I know when I was watching it, I was kind of like, not on pins and needles, but I felt like I was there. I felt like I was in the car. Like there's this, I don't want to give it up, but there's this particular scene where Brad Pitt's character, Sonny Hayes, talks about him being in the zone. And they actually do this. And when you do it, it's like, yo, that shit is sweet. It was so sweet the way it was done, the way it was shot. And, after a while, you kind of know movies and you can see that he was foreshadowing, okay, they're going to do this, but more than likely they're probably going to wait to the final race to actually give you the experience of what he was talking about with him being in the zone. And I figured it was coming, but the way it was shot, them going to the road, going to the expression on Brad Pitt's face, it's something to see, man. It's something to see because it made you feel like you was in a car. I'll be honest with you, man. It was real inspiring, man. It was real inspiring for you to pick yourself up and go out here and do the things that you want to do, man. So I really did enjoy this film. man. So like I said, I'm not going to give up a lot because I know it's still fresh. And it's still in theaters, and I know it's going to come to streaming, and I know people are going to watch this film because it's been talked about. It's been talked about a lot, man. I've heard, before I even went to go see this movie, I heard great reviews. I listened to Spears and Steinberg podcast. They was talking about the movie. So I'm like, yo, man, I'm going to go see it. But I finally pulled the trigger and went to go see it this weekend. And I was highly, highly satisfied, man. I did not walk out this movie without being satisfied. Great story. Like I said, it was a great story, but as I said, my mind is comparing it to Driven because of how similar it was. You know what I mean? So, and I like Driven. You know what I mean? So I like Driven, and I like this movie. So I really did walk away satisfied. You know what I mean? So shout out to Joseph Kosinski for making such a great film, and making people like me who love movies and love to sit down and go to the theater experience and sit down in the movie theater and just enjoy the film. Thank you for making such a great film and just making me still believe in movies, man. So, shout out to Joseph Kosinski. Brad Pitt. What can I say about Brad Pitt, man? And I think like in the beginning of Brad Pitt's career, he was considered a pretty boy and not really much range to his acting. But man, Brad Pitt is top tier, man. Brad Pitt is a top tier actor. I'm watching this dude and I'm seeing what he's doing on the screen, and I'm looking at what he's doing with this character of Sonny Hayes, and it reminds me of what he did when I seen Bullet Train, and how those two are so much different, the parallels. And it just made me think about all the movies that I've seen with Brad Pitt, from this one to Moneyball, Bullet Train, the Oceans movies, all the way back to Interview with a Vampire, the 7, 12 Monkeys. it's just making me think about all the different things and all his range. You know, to anybody that says Brad Pitt is not a top tier actor, man, you's a fucking fool. Seriously, man. And it's like, what would you consider him? Would you consider him to be an actor or a movie star? I think he's both. I think he's both. He's got the acting chops to pull it off. Plus, he's got that star appeal. He's got the face. Brad Pitt's still a good looking dude, and I think he's in his 60s. Still a good looking dude. Father Time ain't really caught up with him yet. It ain't caught him yet, but you can still see he still got the Brad Pitt in him, in his face. He's getting older, but he doesn't look raggedy. Let me put it like that. He doesn't look like a raggedy version of himself that's still trying to do these high impact roles. You know what I mean? So I think the character Sonny Hayes fit him for the age that he is. And like I said, man, Brad Pitt is a fucking beast, man. He's a beast. So shout out to Brad Pitt. He's a beast. Damson Idris, who plays the rookie Joshua Pierce, he's great as well too. Now, this is the first thing I've seen him in. He's in a TV show called Snowfall, which I want to watch because I enjoyed his performance on the screen. So I want to see more of him because he did an awesome job being that rookie and being engulfed in what's going on today with the social media. He's got to be a part of the media. He's got to keep up this image. Even though he's losing races and his team is not doing as well as it needs to do, he's still more concerned about what he puts on social media, the image of what he is. You know what I mean? And eventually, spoilers, eventually it starts to break down as he gets further into the film, where he starts to realize this ain't what it's about. And Sonny Hayes had asked him that question, like, yo, why are you doing this? And, you know, it's a scene in the movie where they all get together and they ask, okay, why are you doing this? But like I said, I don't want to give it up. I want y'all to go out here and go see it. But he's young. You know, he's more than likely in his 20s. He's in his 20s, and Brad Pitt is like 30 years his senior. So Brad Pitt's character is probably in his 50s, maybe early 60s. But you can see the differences between both of them. But you can also see the parallels, that they both have this love for this sport. You know, and they both, I don't want to say come from similar backgrounds, but they both come from similar things that's happening in their life. So they're different, but they're kind of still the same. You know what I mean? So shout out to Damson Idris for doing a great job on being that rookie and toting that line of, hey, I'm thinking about what's going on with the social media stuff and protecting his image, but I also know I gotta do what I gotta do for the team, you know. So shout out to him. Carrie, what's her name? Carrie Condon, who plays Kate McKinnon. She plays the team engineer. She the one that engineers the cars, and that's another thing that goes into this movie. We get into what goes into building these cars. It's not just sitting in the car driving, man. You gotta have specifics of what's going on with this car, what's going on with what's going on with the wings in the back, what's going on with your tires, what's going on with your wing in the front, with the aerodynamics that's going around the car, how it take corners, what it does on straightaways, what it does, how does the wind react to the car. She's responsible for all of that, you know what I mean? And to get a glimpse of that, you're like, wow, it's more than just sitting in the car, putting your foot on the gas and putting your foot on the brake. There's so much that goes into fine-tuning these cars, you know what I'm saying? And be honest with you, in a lot of ways, you get a taste of that in some of the video games. Like, I know that the F1 video game for the when I was playing it on PlayStation 4, there's so many little small things that you got to do. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, man, I really don't have the time to sit there and tweak everything out, you know, but they try to make the game as realistic as what it is in real life. You know, I really don't have time to do it like I want to do it, but to see that in a film and to see what goes into that, you know what I mean? But I'm drifting off because I'm talking about the car instead of talking about her character. Her character had something to prove too, because she was the first female engineer on this team, and that was a milestone for her. So she had a lot to prove to everybody that doubted her, and she did a great job playing that character. And she also plays a little bit of Brad Pitt's love interest in the film. I can't say this enough. I can't say this enough because, oh God, it's so similar to Dreaming, man. I can't say this enough, man. But she plays sort of like his love interest. You know, they got her character and Brad Pitt's character have a chemistry and attraction to each other. You know, so I love the way she played that well, because she played it in a way where she has something to prove and she has something to bring to the table, you know, as well as everybody on that. She has something to bring to the table. And Javier Bardem, who plays the team owner, Ruben Cervantes, he's great. He's great too. I haven't really seen him in much. He's been in a lot of things, but for me, what really stuck out with me with him and his acting was oh man, what's the movie he played the assassin? No Country for Old Men. He did a hell of a job in that film. You know what I mean? But he's been in other stuff beyond that. But these are the two films that I really associate him with, was No Country for Old Men and this one. And he did a great job because he has a lot of stress sitting on his shoulders, where he has this team, and if his team don't do well, even though he's the owner, the team can still be bought out because they got to keep up a certain status, and they're not keeping a certain status, and like I said, they at the bottom of the barrel, you know. So I liked how he played it off and said, not played it off, but I liked the way he performed his role in being like, hey, I got all this going on, and I got this riding on the back of it. I got the pressures of what the board wants me to do, and then I got the pressures of what I need my team to do. I got this rookie driver who really needs some help, and the only person I really know to go to is an old rival and an old friend to help him out. You know, so you can kind of feel what he's going through in the film as well. You know, and to the other many actresses and actors and actresses in this film who played the team, and you see how much goes into them being in this one unit. You know, you see what goes into that. You know, you see there was this one girl, I can't remember her name, but her character builds up as the film goes on as well. But you see that she made a mistake in the beginning of the film, and it kind of cost them the race. And you know, she has a talk with Brad Pitt's character. She has a talk with Sonny, and he tells her, hey, listen, don't beat yourself up. It happens. Don't beat yourself up. And she's like, well, you know, I don't really want you to stick up for me because I have to make my way on this team. She recognizes that she's going to make mistakes, but she doesn't really want nobody to hold her hand in doing what she needs to do to earn her spot on the team. You know, man, to the pit crew, man, it's so detailed and refreshing to see that, man. To see what goes into it, man. And I love that, man. I love that element of seeing what goes on it. Seeing what goes on with that. You know, the strategy that this team has to come up with before a race, of what they're going to do, what kind of tires they're going to use, what kind of strategy they're going to use. What do they want to do on this track for 60, 70 laps? That's a long fucking race, man. 2-3 hours. That's a long time to be in a driver's seat, and you got to have a strategy for that, man. You can't just get behind the car and get behind the car and hit the gas and hit the brakes, man. It's got to be a strategy. What are you gonna do to win? What are you gonna do, man? You know, and to see all of that and what goes into that whole entire process, man. You know, people like me that really didn't know much about it. I kind of knew a little bit about it from video games and other little things and little articles and stuff I read up on, but to the novice eye, and I'm still a novice at it as well, but to the person that knows absolutely nothing, for them to watch this movie and to see what's going on in this film, and you get an inside peek into what's going on, man, that's beautiful, man. I enjoyed that film, man. You know, so getting to my scale, I'm gonna get to my scale. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about too. The infamous, now I ain't gonna say the infamous, the famous Hans Zimmer does the score, and Hans Zimmer reminds me of, Hans Zimmer is one of those dudes that do a score and it fits every film, man. He reminds me of a Danny Elfman. He reminds me of oh man, what's my man name that did 48 Hours? James Horner. He reminds me of Danny Elfman, James Horner, Oh man, what other movie composers, man? There's so many other movie composers, but those are the two that really come to my head that I know. Like when I'm looking at the credits and I see Danny Elfman, or if I saw James Horner, I'm like, oh, this music is gonna keep me. It's gonna keep me engaged, man. And now I'm at the point now when I see Hans Zimmer, I already know, yo, this is gonna keep me. It's gonna keep me engaged into the film. You know, so shout out to Hans Zimmer for an awesome, great score to this film. And just like every other movie that he does, it fits. You know, it fits like a Lego, man. It just goes with everything that's going on in the film, man. You know, it involves you with. It involves you. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you in it to what's going on. And that's what I loved about this film too. You know, they gave you enough to where it didn't get boring. Because I think the movie's about, I think it's a little bit over 2 hours. I want to say it's about maybe like 2 hours and 10 minutes, maybe. It's about 2 hours and 10 minutes, but it's one of those films where you don't feel like you've been sitting in the movie theater that long. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel like it. Me personally, I wanted a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more. But I'm like, I know me. I might want a little bit more, but then after a while, my ass starts hurting in the seat, and I'm like, all right, look, I'm squirming. I'm ready to get up. So it is what it is, man. I'm at the point now where I'm at this age, man, where I'm like, all right, if I'm sitting in this movie, man, I hope it's worth it. I don't want to sit in no 2.5 hour movie that's boring as shit. Because then I'm going to start thinking about all the things that's going on in my body. My lower back might start hurting. My butt cheeks will start hurting this chair. I just want to get up. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think about none of that stuff while I was watching this film. You know, so it's beautifully paced, man. It's a great paced film. As I'm thinking back to it now. Like I said, they give you elements of things, but they don't linger on it. You know. They don't linger on it like you got the part where you learn about Sonny Hayes and you learn about his accident, what kept him out of Formula One for 30 years. They didn't drag it out. They gave you enough exposition to say, okay, this is what happened to him. This is why he stayed away. Now he's coming back. And, you know, we get little bits and pieces of it, but it's enough to keep you. It gives you enough to say, okay, I know what's going on with this character. I don't need a long, drawn out explanation of what's going on. And they did that with all the characters. They did that with Joshua Pierce, him being a rookie. They did that with Kate. They gave us enough to know what was going on, but not enough to choke you out and make you be like, all right, can we move on and get to the rest of the story? You know, so great job, man. So let me get to my scale because I really wasn't trying to make this video almost 30 minutes. So getting to the scale, I give F1 5 thumbs up, man. I give it 5 thumbs up. I put it up there with one of my favorite driving movies, which is Driven. I put it up there. And I can't really think of any other. No, I got some other driving movies that I do love. And I'm not talking about, man, Fast and Furious, that's some different shit. That's a whole nother beast. But as far as like driving movies that's strictly about driving, I don't know, would I put this over Driven? I don't know if I would put this over Driven. I don't know. I gotta watch it again because I've seen Driven so many times that I love that movie so much, man. I love Driven. You know, and I know a lot of people are like, you like Driven? How would you like that movie? I don't know what it is about that movie. I just like that movie. And I think it's the character, with Sylvester Stallone's character of Joe Tanto, and how he's this experience. Get off it, because I didn't just make a video about that and call it a day. But, yeah, man, I really did like this film. So, like I said, 5 thumbs up. Definitely a go see. Go check it out. Go see this movie. Of course, there's going to be people that ain't going to like it, but it is what it is. Go check this out. Definitely one of those films of 2025 that's a must-see. Between this movie and Sinners, it's a couple more. It's a couple other joints that's coming out this year that I'm excited about. But when they come out, more than likely, I'm going to do some reviews on those movies as well. You know, so if you've seen F1, drop some comments below. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if you got any other driving movies that you love that you will put like maybe on your top 5 list. All right. So, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, show your boy some love. This is Short Man Filmworks. I'm your man, Mr. Mar Sharp, and these are the Everyday Man's Film Reviews. I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care and y'all have a good one.